Every legend is based on fact. Every myth is grounded in truth. For 17 years, the town of Haddonfield, Illinois, has been haunted by a night when evil roamed the streets and a madman ruled the night. Everyone knows his name. Now, everyone will know the truth.
I knew what he was, but I never knew why.
Halloween 6, the origin of Michael Myers.
Bruh, no. Why? Hey everybody, NG5 here, and today let me pull. Okay, so that was by the horror. What was it? Just, the whole Fair Use Act of 1976 disclaimer. I have to pull up the video clip real quick. Give me 1 second here. This was by the horror team. So if the horror team, if you saw this live stream, I was using the clip for entertainment purposes only. But yeah, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Somebody kill me. Give me 1 second. I got the music going here. This might sound familiar to you. It's the Wide, Wide Ocean from Mario Party 1. Just let me do that. So that way you know what it is. So that was by official... Let's see. That is official music VGM, I believe. Yeah, official VGM. So I'm just using this for entertainment purposes. The whole disclaimer thing. But... Hold on 1 second. There we go. Start from the beginning. Okay, so Halloween 6. The Curse of Michael Myers. It's bad. Why is it bad? It's the last of the original Halloweens. But get this. The original Halloween came out in 1978. And for its time, even though it was a B movie and it was a literal budget movie, it did okay if you consider, Hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. I just had to let a couple people know about it. Anyway, so this movie, it came out in 1995, and I'm gonna pull up the plot as to what happened. And yes, I'm using the music intentionally, okay? Okay, so let's get into this. So it's the 6th installment. It was done in 1995. If that doesn't scream running on fumes, I don't know what will. So the 6th, let's see. This is just a weird way, because I'm gonna end it with what I think about it. Okay, let's get started. So let me read the plot. On October 31st, 1989, Michael Myers and his niece Jamie Lloyd are abducted from the Haddonfield police station by the mysterious Man in Black and 2 of his henchmen. 6 years later, on October 30th, 1995, Jamie has been impregnated and her infant is born, being taken away by the Man in Black, later to be the leader of a druid-like cult. Later, a midwife helps Jamie escape with her baby, but she is killed by Michael. Jamie and her baby flee in a stolen pickup truck with Michael in pursuit. Meanwhile, Dr. Sam Lewis has retired and moved to a cabin on the outskirts of Haddonfield where he lives as a hermit. That's basically someone who still has residency, but is living off the grid. That's the best way to put it. Let's see. He's visited by his friend Dr. Terrence Wynn, the chief admin of Smith's Grove Sanitarium, where Michael had been incarcerated as a boy. Wynn asks Loomis to return to Smith's Grove. They overhear Jamie's plea for help on a local radio station when she makes a call to Loomis, only to be ignored by the radio DJ Barry Sims. Michael catches up with Jamie and she crashes the truck into an old barn. He kills Jamie but finds that her baby isn't in the truck. In Haddonfield, Tommy Doyle, whom Laurie Strode babysat in 1978, now lives in a boarding house run by Mrs. Blankenship. Tommy is a reclusive individual who has become obsessed with finding the truth behind Michael's motives. The dysfunctional family living in the Myers house across the street are relatives of the Strode family: Kara Strode, her 6-year-old son Danny, her teenage brother Dim, caring mother Deborah, and abusive father John. Tommy finds Jamie's baby at the bus station, takes him into his care, and names him Stephen. Tommy runs into Loomis and tells him about the Strode family living in the Myers house. Meanwhile, Michael returns to Haddonfield where he stalks Kara before killing Deborah. Okay then. Let's see. Let's keep going. Later, Tommy, Kara, and Danny go to the boarding house where Tommy reveals that he believes Michael has been inflicted with Thorn, an ancient druid curse. Long ago, one child from each tribe chosen to bear the curse of Thorn must sacrifice its next of kin on the night of Samhain, or Halloween. I'll get into Samhain in a minute. Tommy believes that Stephen will be Michael's final sacrifice. Later that night, while Tommy goes out to look for Loomis, Mrs. Blankenship reveals to Kara that she was babysitting Michael the night he killed his sister, and that Danny is hearing a voice telling him to kill just like Michael did, indicating Danny also possesses the power of Thorn. Meanwhile, Michael kills John, Tim, girlfriend Beth, and Barry Sims. Danny and Kara manage to escape back to the boarding house where Tommy and Loomis are waiting. The cult arrives at the boarding house where it's revealed that Mrs. Blankenship is a cult member and the man in black is Dr. Wynn. The cult drugs Loomis and Tommy and take Kara, Danny, and Stephen to Smith's Grove. Kara's locked in maximum security ward while the boys are kept in an operating room. Loomis confronts Wynn, who reveals that the staff at Smith's Grove have been working with the Thorn cult to study the power of Thorn and learn how to control it. Stephen is implied to be the successful result of experiments to clone Michael's pure evil, and the cult plans to use Danny and Kara to create another one. I'll explain that in a minute. Wynn wants Loomis to join in on his conspiracy as he was the first one to see the evil inside Michael. Loomis refuses and is knocked out by a cult member. Tommy frees Kara as Michael pursues them through the sanitarium. They find Wynn and his team, who are about to perform a medical procedure on Danny and Stephen. Michael suddenly appears and turns against Wynn and the doctors, killing them all. Tommy and Kara rescue the kids, and Michael chases them into a lab where Kara notices fetuses from Wynn's failed experiments. Tommy injects Michael with corrosives and beats him unconscious with a lead pipe. Tommy, Kara, and the children leave Smith's Grove while Loomis stays behind to take care of business. Inside, Michael's mask lies alone on the lab floor, and Loomis screams in the background, leaving their fates unknown. Phooey! Okay, so what to say about all this? Oh, obviously, this is the last of the original series. The first being the original Halloween. Hold on. Sorry, just mentioning it to somebody. Okay, so Halloween 6. How good was it? It's bad. So, let's get into it. So, there's a whole bit, let's see. The whole bit of Stephen being implied to be a successful result of experience to clone Michael's. The cult plans to use Danny to create an how? How does that even make sense? And I thought it was Halloween 5 that introduced the Thorn cult. No, apparently it's number 6. And and if you noticed in the trailer that I played earlier, this was done by Dimension Films. Dimension Films also did Apollo 18, that one live stream where I was drunk. For Dimension Films to pick this up, I don't know. It's bad. I mean, you got two people that are actually pretty good in this movie. The two really good actors in this are Paul Rudd and Donald Pleasance. Those are the ones that are like high billing. And this just is basically running on fumes at this point. Okay, it's bad. I don't know what to say. This is also overlooked by Halloween H2O, which was in 1990, excuse me. I'll just look at that briefly. It's a direct sequel to Halloween 2 from 1981. So yeah, it doesn't follow Halloween 4, 5, and 6, thank goodness, but it's its own piece of shit. And then Halloween Resurrection. How much more did it need to be milked is the question. I don't get it, okay? But back to Halloween 6. So, Michael Myers, as I've mentioned with Halloween 4 and 5, I haven't talked about 5. The first one I talked about, I believe, was 4. Yeah, this is the second day, my bad. I haven't even talked about Halloween 5 yet. But Halloween 6 is just, it's bad. It made only 3 times the amount it got on a budget, so I don't know. This is just bad. Okay, let me read this. This is the concept of writing it. In 1990, screenwriter and longtime Halloween fan Daniel Farrands set out to write the 6th entry in the series. Farrands gave his horror film scripts to the producer of Halloween 5, Ramsey Thomas, impressed by his writing. Thomas said a meeting, and Farrands described the meeting as this. I spent weeks preparing for the meeting, came in with a huge notebook filled with Halloween research. I had the entire series laid out in a timeline. Bio of every character, a family tree of the Myers and Strode clans, as well as all research I compiled about the runic symbol Thorn that was briefly shown in Halloween 5. I then laid out how I thought all this might be explored in number 6. Oh yeah, and then Phil Rosenberg was the first writer hired. His script title, Halloween 666, The Origin, was hated by a cop who tossed the script across his room after he finished reading it. Wow, that must have been really crazy. He's like, why'd you throw my script? It fucking sucks. That's probably what happened. Wait, Quentin Tarantino helped? What? This thing is all over the place. Okay, directed by Joe Chappelle. That sounds very French. Produced by Paul Freeman and written by Daniel Farrands. I can't pronounce his name. What else? Farrands expanded the Curse of Thorn plotline, which England is kidnapped by a covert cult who has cursed Michael Myers via the runic symbol of Thorn, which compels him to kill and also affords him his immortality. What? But the ng5.exe has stopped working. This just is all over the place, okay? 10 different drafts between June of 1994 and October 1994 film shoot. What? Let's see, what else? Okay, allusions and references. This just means they add a little something to, as a little throwback. These range from situational allusions, such as Tommy Doyle living across the street from the Strode house. Minor references such as naming the addresses from Halloween 2 and the character Mrs. Blankenship, a name referred to in passing in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Other references outside the narrative diegeses of the series include the names of characters like John and Deborah Strode, referring to John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, as well as the naming of Danny Strode, character Danny Torrance in The Shining. Farron's also referenced Carpenter's The Fog with a line referring to a stomach pounder, a protein milkshake Tim drinks early in the film, and Beth's murder scene was modeled after a scene from Fred Walton's When a Stranger Calls. Addition, extended scenes of Carr waking up the college campus and en route to her home were intentionally allude to the scene featured Lord's. Okay, so there are a couple little references, but was it enough to save the thing? No. Oh, and I showed the early teaser trailer of the film. It was titled Halloween 666, The Origin of Michael Myers. According to Daniel, Farron's before it became official that had been decided that's what it was going to be called. At one point, exactly The Curse of Michael Myers due to troubled production. Akkad took the name to heart and decided upon it. Also added that this coincidentally made the subtitles similar to those in the Pink Panther films, which also used Return, Revenge, and Curse subtitles as well. That's just a happy coincidence, honestly. When you have, Revenge of the Pink Panther, Curse of the Pink Panther, Return of the Pink Panther, Revenge of the Pink Panther, and then Curse of the Pink Panther. So yeah, and then Return of Michael Myers, Revenge of Michael Myers, Curse of Michael Myers. That's more of a happy coincidence. So, this was actually released a month before the official month of October. Released on September 29th, 1995 in the United States. Brought about $7.5 million on opening weekend gross. Coming in second to serial killer thriller 7. Being the first series to be on par with Halloween 2's opening weekend gross. Both Halloween 4 and 5 earned under $7 million. The film went on to gross a total of about $15 million at the U.S. box office from an estimated $5 million budget. Okay, so it basically tripled what it used to make. But how was it received? It was not screened in advance for critics. It has a 9% approval rating, average rating of 3.5 of 10 based on 35 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Besides, critical consensus states that Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, or Halloween 6, trades the simple, brutal effectiveness of the original for convoluted mysticism with disastrously dull results. On Metacritic, the film holds a 10 out of 100 based on 13 reviews, signifying as overwhelmingly disliked. Daniel Kimmel of Variety called the film tired and run-of-the-mill, while Nick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle said the film lacked suspense that said not even the presence of the late gloriously histrionic Donald Pleasance can liven things up, deeming it bland, deadening, and by far the worst. Stephen Holden of the New York Times called the film script impossibly convoluted and wrote that shock effects are applied with such ham-fisted regularity that they quickly backfire. Josh Hartle of the Seattle Times criticized the film's conventionality, writing, instead of sending up the current glut of serial killer movies, the filmmakers trot out the old slasher tactics. Jack Matthews of the LA Times similarly criticized the film's lack of originality, comparing it negatively to its predecessors. Richard Harrington of the Washington Post also criticized the script, writing, while director Joe Chappelle and writer Daniel France took advantage of a clearance sale at the horror Cliché Emporium, they forgot to stop in at Plots R Us. The time-out London film guide deemed the film a series of completely engineered shock moments, jellied along by a jazzed-up version of Carpenter's original electronic score, slicker than crude oil and just as unattractive. If that doesn't scream a bad movie, I don't know what does. It's bad. Now I'm going to get into a little historical stuff. Samhain, that was mentioned during the plot. It's a Gaelic festival marking the end of harvest season and the beginning of winter on the darker half of the year. It's held on November 1st, but celebrations beginning on the evening of October 31st, as the Celtic day began and ended at sunset. So, yeah, that's where that comes in. It's basically 2 days. It's related to Halloween, Day of the Dead, All Saints Day, All Souls Day, and then there's these, I think, Gaelic things. Yeah, Celtic and Gaelic stuff. And then Thorn. That was just the facepalm moment of this horrible, horrible movie. The Thorn. Now, I'm not talking the literal thorn. When I first heard about the thorn, I actually thought it was literal, but it's like, no, it's not. It's it's an Old English. It's a letter in the Old English, Gothic, Old Norse, Old Swedish, and modern Icelandic alphabets. It looks like a B, like the letter B or a letter P, but like that little, when you look at it, it's actually the little, like, bulb, I guess you could say. It's actually, like, right smack in the middle. In typography, the lowercase thorn character is unusual. It has both an ascender and descender. It's hard to explain, but basically it's an old runic kind of symbol. But somehow it's been put into, let's see, thorn. I don't know what it means, if it has anything to deal with it, but the fact that you slap this whole thorn thing into this movie, I mean, when I get to the original Halloween, I'm gonna explain why I prefer Halloween over stuff like Friday the 13th or, you know, the Jason series, anything like that. When you add this curse bit into it, it's bad. How else can I say it? It is a bad movie. I cannot get over how horrible it is. And people have actually said that this whole thing is just it's running on fumes at this point with the original films. And I can concur. It runs on fumes, which is just bad. And somehow people thought, oh, it should be okay. Okay, I just noticed something really weird. Home media. The film was first released for home media on VHS on October 7th, 1996 from Buena Vista Home Entertainment. If you don't know what that is, if I go there, Buena Vista Home Entertainment, which is also the trading name of Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment. What? It's still around today. They did go through just a couple of name changes. Like now it's under the Disney Media Distribution. The very first VHS release of the Buena Vista Home Entertainment was actually Walt Disney's Pete's Dragon. And the fact that Dimension Films, let's see, let me look here. Miramax, I think is owned, well, let me double check, because, and Dimension Films, because that strikes me as crazy, that the last Halloween movie, the worst of the bunch, is somehow released on VHS by Buena Vista Home Entertainment. Oh, okay, and it kind of made sense. Okay, here's where it makes sense. I just looked it up. Miramax was let's see. Miramax was acquired by Disney in 1993, so that's why it made sense for the Buena Vista Home Studios. What was it called? Buena Vista Home Entertainment. That's why it made sense. But then again, why would why would the Walt Disney Company release a bad Halloween movie? It doesn't make sense. My head hurts now. But yeah, as I mentioned, Dimension Films was also let's see, Lantern Entertainment. Yeah, so Dimension Films, as I mentioned, they helped make the last Halloween movie. I don't know if they did Halloween 5. Let me double check. That's what I'll be reviewing tomorrow too. And I'll start it off with the trailer for Halloween 5. But yeah, Miramax was for a while owned by Disney, and that's probably how they were able to get out Halloween 6 of yeah. That's my guess. It's just weird to see that, that they released Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. That is just weird. And now Miramax, I think, is with it's under CBS now. It's under Viacom, which is crazy. But yeah, it's weird what Halloween 6 went through. And the way it ends too is pretty stupid, honestly. I'm not really happy of how Halloween 6 ended. Because, you don't know what happened to Dr. Loomis or Michael. You just hear Loomis screaming in the background. It's just like, okay then. But anywho, there's just so much wrong with Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, or Halloween 6, as it's going by. Even the music in this can't save it. Halloween 1, 2, and 3 obviously had some good sound to it, but this just kind of screams lazy. I don't want to go too far to where I just start going crazy, so I'm gonna end the live stream here, and I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we are gonna take a look at Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Till then, stay healthy.